Hi, my name's Nancy Merrick, and I am the Gallup Strengths Coach out at our companies at Merrick Machine Company and the Triad Groups. I've been out here working with the companies for the last about 3 years now, and I kind of wanted to give an introduction as to why we're doing strengths and why we think this is important and how we benefit as a group. So the Strengths Finder program actually started within our family when my youngest daughter, Hope, was in 2nd grade. We started to hear that she had learning problems at school, a lot of challenges for her. School was really difficult for her. And it just kind of put us on the alert to say we need to come up with different strategies and different ways to help Hope learn because she was really struggling. And when she was finally 14 years old, I came across a book called Now Discover Your Strengths by a man named Marcus Buckingham. And the whole premise of this book was quite revolutionary at the time. He said, what if instead of focusing and trying to fix our weaknesses, which gets us marginal results if any, what if instead we focused on the areas where we had natural talent and ability and were able to grow those areas? Then where would we be? And I thought, that's brilliant. And Russ came home, we talked about this, and he said, I think we should do this for Hope. Because up until this point, we had just naturally focused on where Hope was failing instead of where Hope was actually succeeding. And so we did this. We sat down as a family, we took the assessment as a family, and I learned all sorts of new things about my family. I learned that my oldest daughter, Morgan, was highly competitive. And I said to her, Morgan, you're competitive. I didn't know that. Tell me how. And she said, Mom, I've always been competitive. And I said, how? And she said, it's in my grades. And suddenly those A+ started to make sense to me. And with Hope, we learned that Hope had a talent for communication. And that simply meant that Hope needed to think out loud. She needed to talk about the problems before she could formulate a solution for those problems. And instead, we did just the opposite of that. We sent her away to a room by herself with a book, said study, and just left her in there to torture her. And when we finally discovered that Hope needs to talk her way to the answer, it changed everything for us. And I was able to see patterns that Hope had used communication. You know, she was involved in the school musicals. She was very outspoken. She was a writer. She loved to express herself through all kinds of fashion, and she still does to this day. Russ had a talent for relator. He loves to work with a close group of friends where he gets to know them and they get to know him in return. He likes that intimacy that he can have in a work environment like that. He's at his best. Mine was a strength for strategic thinking. I love to solve puzzles. I love to find different ways to try something. I'm always asking, well, what if we did this? And what if we did that? And well, what about that? And driving people around me crazy sometimes, but I'm always trying to think of it from so many different angles to come up with all these different options and ways to go forward. So about 2 or 3 years ago, Russ came home with the idea that he wanted to introduce Strengths Finder at Merrick Machine Company to kind of support our sales team. And I said, I would love to do that. How can I help? And so we just jumped in and began. And we had great success here. Our people loved it at Merrick Machine. And later on, we have expanded now to Triad Plastics, or Triad Fastener, and eventually we will get to all the other companies as well. The beauty of the Strengths Finder program, I've always seen it as it brings a sense of empathy to the workplace. It teaches us to see other people's strengths and other people's talents and other people's natural way of doing something. We have a tendency to think that the world sees everything the way we do. And if they don't, they should, right? But that's not true. You know, we all see things from our own unique perspective. And being able to get a glimpse into people's top 5 strengths that we share and talk about in the workplace helps us understand and relate to each other better. So I know that someone that's very focused and detailed is going to kind of get in their zone and not want a lot of interruptions, where there might be somebody else in our workplace that has a talent for meeting new people and they're always engaging someone new, or they're just natural recruiters and they want to bring people into the organization. And when we find out these kind of insights about someone, we can help them do more of that. So many times we're told to play to our areas of strengths. What is it we do naturally well? And for so many of us, we don't even know how to answer that question, right? And the Strengths Finder assessment gives us a new vocabulary. It gives us a new way of understanding what's really unique and special about ourselves that's unique to us. And I've done over 100 of these assessments so far, and everyone is unique and special and different, and every person is unique and special and different. And we all do it in our own unique ways. There is no one size fits all for everyone. So in understanding the uniquenesses of each person, it also gives us more of an awareness to say, how can we use that uniqueness that he has? Or how can we do how can we capitalize on that brilliance that she brings? And we all share a new vocabulary now to talk about that. And it's about celebrating the uniquenesses, and not that we're all the same, not that we all want to be treated the same, not that we're even going to perform the same. Where do we get to stand out and be unique as people?
Well, my name is Daisy Green, and I'm a sales professional for parts and tooling on the parts side of the company.
My name is Mark Hartford. I'm the production manager.
My name is Becky Grabowski. I am the training and safety coordinator for Triad Fastener.
My name is Maria Delgado, and I am the national sales manager for Triad Rubo and Merrick Machine.
A little over 2 years.
About 5 years now.
With the company almost a year.
9 years.
It was probably a year and a half ago.
I learned about it from Nancy on the initial questionnaire.
When I started over at Merrick Machine last year.
Nancy Merrick introduced me to it. It's probably been about a year and a half ago.
I was really excited. I love learning about myself, so it was exciting.
I was curious. I was all for it, always all for things like that, but I was curious.
I was obviously a little skeptical. I didn't really know much about the Strengths Finder.
I guess I was kind of expecting what it was, because I guess it's just me, but it's just kind of just defining every single thing I do. It was awesome. I liked it.
The questions were pretty specific, so I thought I was interested in the results as soon as I took the assessment. So
Right after the test, before we sat down and talked about it, I didn't, I guess, really think much of it because it was just some random questions that you'd just kind of answer, and I didn't really understand how that was going to tell what kind of person I was or what my personality was.
Completely different than what I'd expected. The questions were different, how it was worded was different. It was just really, it felt more personal to me than a lot of other assessments I've taken.
It made sense to me a lot. Like, just, I guess, knowing all the definitions of each strength, it was so neat.
I had an idea, but I didn't know their specific names. I didn't know what they were actually called. So once Nancy explained what each strength was, nailed it on the head.
It made sense. I mean, when you go through and you read through those descriptions that you get with your top 5, and they're detailed just for you, and working together with all of your 5 strengths, it made sense. It explained, oh, that's why I do this.
There was no surprise at all. Maybe the words that were used, but once I saw the words, I mean, it was just so accurate. It was actually sort of weird.
It's focus, analytical, competition, achiever, and futuristic.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I get my top 5 and my top 10 mixed in, but achiever, command, responsibility, learner, and focus.
Responsibility, achiever, input, learner, and arranger.
Achiever, relator, learner, strategic, and responsibility.
I guess it kind of reveals what I am capable of doing. I guess I knew that I had that in me, but it just, knowing my strengths, I guess I can use them more and use them to my advantage.
It's helped me a lot. Knowing other people have different strengths than mine, it gives me a lot of clarity of why people aren't thinking like I'm thinking, and how to actually approach the different people according to their different strengths.
It just helps you really understand why you do some of the things you do and why you do them in certain ways. And it helps you realize the best way to approach different situations within your job.
It never dawned on me until we started having the meetings that if I know other people's strengths and how to understand them, how I can better relate to them, how they can help me and I can help them.
Everybody has different ways of thinking about things, and obviously with their strengths, you kind of get where they're coming from.
The flow of the floor, the strengths finder along with other things, just understanding what makes people tick, what makes them want to do better, what makes them, what their strengths are, what drives them. It's helped a lot on the floor.
I mean, everybody obviously thinks differently, and knowing that, someone's top strength is empathy makes you understand why they maybe take things, to heart and, show a lot more emotion than some other people.
It lets me know that there's certain people I can go to in particular that might have wonderful ideas about a certain subject, or maybe I'm having a problem that I need some help with, and I have a really good idea off the bat of who to go to just because of their strengths.
Helps me a lot, like with my significant other. He hasn't taken his, but I kind of have a general idea of what his are. And I guess just like when I go work out, do anything, I have competition in my top, so I use that to my advantage, as in getting other people to do it with me.
Before I approach someone, like one of my second strength is command. Whenever I talk to someone, I just think they're thinking the way I am, and we get it done, and I expect them to do what I tell them to do.
No, it's just nice to see why, sometimes you wonder, gosh, why do I always do that? When you don't quite understand why your reaction to a certain event or a certain situation is the same.
It makes me more mindful of how I am at home. Sometimes my strengths can be a bit overpowering, and at work that's not such a bad thing because you just want to work very hard. At home you're supposed to relax and dial back a little bit, and I wasn't necessarily always doing that, so once I realized what my strengths were, it helped me.
It's really exciting just knowing about yourself, and it's really going to help them. I guess I talk to everybody about it. It's awesome to know exactly what you're capable of doing.
Go in with an open mind and listen more than you talk.
I would say, even though the word test or assessment is used, that's not what it is. It's just some questions. There's no right answers. There's no wrong answers. There's no, if you get these strengths, you're not going to get this job. This is just saying what kind of person you are. And
it's so very accurate. It helps you not only in your work and professional environment, but also your home environment, in dealing with people. It just concentrates on strengths instead of weaknesses. If you concentrate on weaknesses, you're trying to fix things that you're not going to fix.
So now it's your turn. You've been given the opportunity to find out your talents and your abilities by using the StrengthsFinder assessment. It's a simple, fun series of about 70 questions. It takes about 30 minutes. Have fun with it. Just relax, enjoy it, be yourself. There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, there's nothing that we're looking for. We just want to know more about you. So just be yourself, have fun with it, and at the end, you get a lot of tools that you can take home and share with your family, share with people in your world, share with people at work. And this is a great way to say, hey, this is what I do. This is the best of me. And I get to learn what is the best of you. And it's a whole different way to start having conversations with people. So learn about it, read it, learn about it, share it, and I'm excited for the opportunities that this brings for us as a company, but most importantly for you as individuals. Russ has always said, we want to build these companies by building people. And this is one of the tools that we bring. So I want you to enjoy it, I want you to learn from it, and have a great time with it. And that is our StrengthsFinder program.